ACSblog is here with Paul Smith, partner at Jenner & Block. Paul just participated in a fantastic panel on the Supreme Court 2009-2010 term. Paul, considering the results of Bush versus Gore and the anticipated result of the Citizens United case, do you think there's a crisis of legitimacy on the court?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that's true at this moment, but it is interesting to look at those two cases as kind of bookmarks of the last 9 years, two cases in which, I'm assuming that the corporate free speech side wins in Citizens United, which seems very likely, two cases in which the court will have been very, very aggressive in applying the Constitution to significantly affect the electoral process in a very activist way. It's obviously changed the presidential election with a very aggressive interpretation of equal protection back in Bush v. Gore. And in Citizens United, it's going to presumably overrule two decisions, open up corporate participation in elections to a dramatic extent in a way that could alter fundamentally the balance of power in our electoral system. To have the court doing that in election cases is a sensitive matter, because elections are the area where the court's legitimacy is most likely to get questioned. It's affecting the politics of the country, and the court is not supposed to be political. And it's particularly troubling to me because in between those two bookends, we've had a number of cases in which people brought up constitutional arguments to the court about protecting the rights of people to vote who were either poor or minorities, in the voter ID case out of Indiana, or people who had been denied equal roles in electing legislators because of partisan gerrymandering, and in Texas, the famous Texas congressional gerrymander. And the court was extremely deferential to the politicians and said, we don't want to get involved in elections in these areas. We'll do whatever. We'll assume they have good faith, and the courts shouldn't get involved in those areas. But so they have a real risk that people are going to start to decide that they make these calls based on who's advantaged rather than based on their legitimate understandings of the Constitution. I'm not saying that that's exactly an accurate accusation, but they need to be very careful, and it'll be interesting to see how this pattern goes forward as we have another decade ahead of what will be surely a number of big election cases coming to the court.